Cool, cool, cool. All right. Warm welcome and good to see you in another client student interview. And today we have a very, very special one. I feel like I always say like it's a very, very special one, but today it's a little bit of a different one because Ronnie and Niels, they have, I would say, like a little bit of a different agency usually than the agencies that come here. Usually it's like a local lead gen agency or maybe like a business coach or I don't know, like an agency doing like e-com or something like that. But they have a very interesting agency, what they have. And when they came to us, they were already doing pretty good. And now that they made a, I would say like a really nice leap into their growth and what they've done with the hard work that they've, put into the program and everything like that. But I just want to, thank you guys first things first, guys, Ronnie and Niels, for taking the time out of your busy days to have this conversation with me and share with the people on the channel also your experiences and also your growth that you've made. So I would love for us to start at the beginning and have you guys talk a little bit more about maybe a short introduction of, who you are, what you do right now, and then we will maybe take it from there as how you guys started and how everything started with Lotux, which I'm also very curious to hear more about. So yeah, maybe we can start with that and start with you, Niels, and then take it from there, man. Super excited for this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, Stefan. So yeah, we started Lultix 2.5 years ago. We were both still studying. I think Ronnie was just about to graduate.
Yeah.
We always decided that we wanted to start a business before we actually knew what we were going to do. So when we were 17, we were already trying to start a business, but always procrastinated it. And then suddenly we were like, okay, let's just go on a customer validation journey, ask construction companies, which is still our biggest passion, what they actually need. Then the content creation came up. We decided to do advertising for construction. Eventually pivoted to a full-blown media agency, and our big ambition was to become a big production house with fancy cameras and do the big productions. But then eventually we realized that actually those videos just ended up on a hard drive and didn't mean anything to those businesses. So suddenly we came to a D2C project, which really sparked our interest. And that's also about the time that we met you, Stefan. But we were struggling quite a bit with finding new clients and how that we really needed to structure the business and grow new clients. Um, and then yeah, that made the story complete when we joined your program. And since then we've made quite a leap in how many customers we're serving and how our entire business is taking shape. I don't know if I missed anything, Ronnie, about that
No,
process.
I don't think so. You explained it very clearly. We just made it very difficult on ourselves by picking a niche and picking a sector that we had zero experience in. So about 3 years ago, we hadn't seen a camera from up close. We had to
Mm,
learn like the camera, the editing, the lighting, a few different softwares, then everything in marketing. Yeah, basically starting from zero, which means a lot of hard work and pushing hard in the beginning, but that also means that you are like creating, if you have to work harder than someone else in the beginning, that means you will also work harder once it starts going well. And once you have that momentum, like we have right now, we just do everything to keep going.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
and on top of that, what made it very hard is that we were both studying. I mean, I
Mm,
just graduated this July. Last year, I was still taking up 72 credits in university. So there were moments that we were extremely excited, other moments that we felt that we were going through 3 burnouts a month, and still we felt like we weren't stoppable. We just kept on going,
mm.
sometimes at the expense of our own selves. I think you remember, Stefan, like some
Yeah, yeah,
meetings,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we were so depressed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Like if I look at you guys right now and I look at the difference of like what what you're doing right now and how you're doing it, and I just see like of course you're still like in the business and working and like
Mhm.
doing these things, like the production that you guys mentioned, like going to a client and all these things, but I just see like more relaxedness. Like in the beginning, I remember you guys were like, what to do, man, and how and what and this and
Uh,
that, and now you're like, okay, boom, we have the ads going, we have the, team members, like all these things. I don't want to say too much, of course, because I'm super excited for you guys. Like I really am happy, like in a place where you are right now. So yeah, thanks for the summary on that part. And then tell us a little bit more, how, everything like with Lotux like took a real stance, like, pretty much like, because like when we started, I believe it was like last year, end of last year, I believe,
Mhm.
somewhere like that. It went like, of course, sometimes it takes a little bit more time for some people to like get the ball rolling, but like you guys already had some things in place regarding like the agency itself. But tell us a little bit more how things evolved for you guys by, end of last year towards, let's say, March, April this year. And then we'll take the second part because that's when, you got everything done. In terms of, you said the graduation, right? It was this year, right?
Yeah,
July.
yeah.
Yeah. So like that part where you now guys have like the full momentum. Walk the people through like how that specific like first 6 months went,
Mhm.
because we got to be honest, it's ups and downs in an agency business. It's not, oh, you just turn on ads and boom, you get the lead flow, right? But how did
Mm.
it go for you guys? And, walk us through that journey pretty much for you both.
I, I think, and this is what Ronnie and I talk about all the time, that we don't want to be freelancers. And for the most part of our first 2 years of our business, we thought we had a business, but we were actually freelancers. We were just doing the video productions. And every invoice we sent was, okay, we're going on set, we're doing the post production. There was just no real scalability in our business. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
have a very clear offer. We didn't exactly knew who we wanted to be targeting, and our value of our offer just wasn't really there, right? We were just making videos and hoping that they would do something for our clients, and that's something that probably took us more time than it should have. But when we got onboarded into your program, it really made us think about, okay, we don't have an offer. We're just doing video productions, and we're acting like freelancers, hoping that we can shoot videos and essentially make other freelancers do it. But then our margins are just 10, 20%. And that
Yeah.
you cannot grow a business like that.
Yeah.
So you really made us think about, okay, how can we create an offer that a starving market actually needs, that you can probably just sell on the ads, and then in the sales call you just have to explain exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So they are kind of like pre-sold on the ads, and that's what we've seen since we made that pivot after July, really having a very clear offer for a very specific persona. We saw that in sales calls, it was pretty easy. I was just explaining to them exactly what I was doing. Um, and then they were already pretty much convinced that this was the right step for them.
Yeah. And for me personally, I would say the first 6 months, everything that we did was just reacting. There was nothing was in our control. We were hoping. And if you look at a business from a higher perspective, there are basically two funnels, a funnel of sales and a funnel of a team of hiring your talent. And both of our funnels were empty. Like we had no processes or systems in place to find clients or to find anyone doing the job. So we were constantly stressed out. And when work came in, we had a lot of trouble finding the right people, and everything just took way too long.
Mm.
Plus, there was no speed. And I think in business, the most important thing is speed and acting when an opportunity comes up. And we were, like just Ronnie said, like we were reacting to stuff. Shit
Mm.
hits the fan. Okay, how are we going to solve it? And we were always solving it on the spot, but not putting in place systems that's were solving those problems on a very long term.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. 100%. And you guys were all heavily involved in the business, right?
We
Like
were the
like
business.
you were the
Yeah.
business. And then I remember Ronnie asking me one time, like, I'm just doing all of the editing, or like you both were, I believe, doing like a little bit of the editing and all these things. We were like
Mm.
looking at ways of like, how can we make sure that you guys are leveraging your time instead of just putting your time in return for like what these clients are paying. And don't get me wrong, they were paying okay, for you
Yeah.
guys, but like
Mm-hmm.
it still didn't make sense to have you there. So like because it was, as I said, a bumpy road. We decided on looking at the niche, and first we looked at a specific niche, and now we've kind of pivoted into a specific niche, which I think you guys are very, very much like focusing well on, and really
Mm.
doing well. So tell the people a little bit more about how the months after that went, and the clarification, in terms of like the niche, the offer, the everything just regarding like Lotux took a turn pretty much for the good part. Like how did that go?
Yeah. So the time of pivoting our niche and offer probably took us too much time. When I reflect on it, it's we were kind of like holding on to the belief that what we were doing was the right thing, um, and we didn't really. And I even think this is mostly me. Like I really was focused on that media production agency, but in the end, that's not where the value was. So that's when we also decided, okay, we need to do something that we can actually grow a business. And that's when
Yeah.
we started pivoting towards D2C. And you really helped us like figure out, okay, what is your offer? And then we came with a couple of offers and you said, okay, this is not clear enough. What exactly does it mean for the client? We were talking a lot of features and we're going to do this and this and this, but what does it mean for the client and what is it going to generate for
Mm.
them? So once we pivoted that and we had one clear message to every client, it started to make sense because all of your funnels are tailored on that offer and that messaging. It's really easy to create content because you exactly know who you're targeting, what you're giving them, and what your message is. It's easier to create your landing pages because you know who you're talking to. When you're on the sales calls, way easier because you know who you're talking to. You don't have to sell a different offer every single time. You can propose them something on the spot. You don't have to go back and calculate, okay, I'm going to do this much production days because they want this and that. Just the entire picture came together, which made it way easier to have a clear process.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. And then Ronnie's mostly on service delivery. So I think he can best describe everything regarding that.
Yeah, in terms of service delivery, especially if you're doing so much different projects and you don't have a clear style, it's just a nightmare because every project you have to brief everyone separately. There's a lot of room for error, and you like the only way you can make money is when you're like better and more efficient than someone else. And if you're constantly doing something else, that's impossible to maintain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super tough. And like that's what we took a look at, because like of course sometimes in the journey, in the process of like, I noticed it myself too. Like if you have something that's earning and giving you something, you're more inclined to be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, I'm just stick with that, But that's what you said,
Mm.
Niels. Like business loves, like money loves speed, and when you can make decisions, when they are like good decisions quickly, and you do it with speed and with the right input, like for example, you guys pivoting at the right moment to the specific niche, and then signing the deals that you're signing now, and then growing the agency to the level where it is. I think that's a key part in getting it to the level at where you guys are at right now. And then tell us a little bit more about like because like people join, of course, programs for different reasons. It can be for personal growth, it can be to get clients, it can be to grow their business overall. You guys joined it because you really wanted to create something out of low tux and really build it into what it pretty much, I mean, it can always be improved, but close to what it is
Mm-hmm.
today, and what it will be in the future. Tell us a little bit more like what got you guys into the blueprint in the first place, like what motivated you guys to come in, because you see so many people come there like, or like want to go into programs and seeing it out there.
Mhm.
What triggered you guys to go in the blueprint?
I think I need to tell a bit more around that because our vision is way broader than just having the agency. We always told ourselves like the agency is just a launch pad for us to get into other businesses. It's going to be our, let's say, our cash cow where we get mostly all of our cash that we can invest in creating other businesses because we're not the ideal agency owners. We are probably not the people who fell in love with the agency model. Um, but it is a very good business for us to understand exactly how you can grow other businesses. And that's the main reason that we wanted to start Lotex Agency, to understand what makes and breaks a business, um, so that we can build in the end a portfolio of businesses and we can use this agency model to grow our own businesses and in the meantime help others. And that was a bit of our vision, but as Ronnie told you, we didn't have any experience in this. So we also told ourselves we need to invest a lot of money into our skills, our knowledge. So we also made a rule for ourselves every year we're going to invest in a coaching program to update our skills. And then when we saw your program, Ronnie told me about it and said, I have a good feeling with Stefan. There's a lot of covered. He's specialized in agencies and coaches. So he really knows what he's talking. He's running his own agency as well. Um, yeah, and then we hopped on a call with you, and I think there was a click because it's you behind the coaching program. It's not just an online course that you're selling. Of course, you have all of the videos at your disposition. You can always watch everything. But for us, the main thing that was really driving why we went on this coaching program with you was that we have these personal moments with you and could ask you very specific questions.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what we are looking at. Someone who is at point B where we want to go and that can help us go from A to B as soon as possible.
100%. 100%. I love that. And that's the thing, man. Speed, efficiency, and investing in yourself to keep always stay on the, top 1% type of things. And the people that don't, and I think that they have it all figured out, is people that run behind the facts in everything. I think even if it's about performance or content or editing or leading a team, leadership coaching, pretty much everything. And then in terms of like the program itself, like tell us a little bit more, like what surprised you about like the partnership together, like what in specific stood out to you guys that you say like, wow, that like, surprised me pretty much like during the partnership in terms of like when we were working, and was there something that stood out in specific?
Go ahead,
For
Ronny.
me, for me personally, that would have been like the hours that we spent together and how much feedback that we could ask you whenever we needed. We could just always send you over one of our files, record a video, ask a question, and pretty much within the same day you would have an answer. And that for us is priceless, because the whole reason that we made that investment is to shorten the path. And once you learn the skill, once you've reached that point, it's always easy to go back. So it's just a matter of skills to get to that point. And if we can find someone who did it before us, explain us how and why and what that he did, so that we can get faster to that point, even if it costs us a little bit money upfront, then we're more than happy to do that, because in the long run, it's worth every euro that we have put into it.
Yeah, 100%. And so in terms of like the growth that you guys have made up until this point, because a lot has changed, tell us about like where you guys started at in terms of like the amount of clients and where the Lodex agency was like standing and to where it's standing right now. And then we'll get into where it's heading, because I really, your guys' vision is also something I want to share with people, and hopefully they see what's capable. But tell us from like point A and point B, what you mentioned, Ronnie, how did that go, and how does that look like pretty much for you guys with the blueprint?
Okay, yeah. So when we joined you, our point B was completely different than our point B right now, because we had 0 ICPs. Most of the clients that we were working with were just a pain in the ass, like draining our energy. And even the cliche that everyone is saying, the less a client pays, like the worse they are, it's actually true. Even we decided that our cheapest packages, which were, by the way, starting from 3,500 per month, we just decided to skip them and only start by the higher packages. Because if you don't have the balls to ask that money, like you need the money in your business. It's the oxygen. You need it for everything. And something that Niels and I sometimes discuss as well is, in order to become a millionaire, you first need to have the balls to ask a million. And that's where we were struggling a lot as well. We didn't want to ask a lot of money because we thought we were not worth that amount, that amount. And the more that we focused on getting results, like getting the money in, hiring like talented people, like the better everything went.
Yeah, and then in terms to make it very concrete, I think when we were at point A, like how many clients? I can't even tell you. We had no insight of our business.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, we knew, oh, okay, there was X coming in, but how many clients do we have that month? Oh, good question, man. I don't even know. Oh, okay. What was your average order value or your lifetime value of your customers? Oof, geez, I don't know. Need to go into Excel for that. And we just had no insight about our business. And then now that and that is the importance of having one offer and for one ICP.
Mm-hmm.
When you tell me, okay, if you sign a client tomorrow, how much will it bring in? I know exactly how much it will bring in, of course, depending on which package, but we know what a
Mhm.
client is going to be worth. And that was the position that we needed to go to. And like Ronnie said, cash flow is the oxygen of your business. We had so many cash flow issues because there were, I still have the screenshot somewhere. There was 46 euros in our bank account, in our business bank account. Like,
Whoa.
you, what do you want to do with 46 euros? Here in Belgium, you can maybe go out one evening and then it's gone. But we couldn't do anything. And that's when we also hopped on a call with you. Like we were having cash flow issues. And you said, okay, charge them front. And I was like, yeah, why not? And then that's what we started doing. And now the money just comes in when when we sign the client is invested. So he knows that he has to do something as well. When they are not invested, you have to wait 3 to 4 weeks before they do the onboarding. So only asking upfront resolved so many issues for us.
Mhm. And we always had to start every month from scratch again. Like all our clients, if we did the project, then we were basically back at zero and we had to start all over. Whereas right now with these subscription models, we know like how many clients that we have next month when we don't create the ads for them. It's like it's a real problem that they need to solve, and it's impossible for them to turn it off or to completely stop. They need it for the business. While we're creating the videos alone, like a video is a nice to have, but it's not necessary.
Exactly. Yeah. To be honest, like what I told you guys and what I always say is like, if your client doesn't have skin in the game when they pay and you gotta run after the facts, like that's when
Mhm.
you don't have a client. You have a pretty much a in Dutch I call it incasso bureau, like a pretty much like a business that goes around and running after their clients trying to get their cash flow, pretty much like that. Then you don't have a
Mhm.
business. So like the client needs to have skin in the game for sure. And I think you guys I think that changed what we decided on the niche and pretty much on the offer and how to set it up in such a way where you guys at least somewhat are break even or at least make profit on the first time when a client comes in, so you can leverage that either in ads or in acquisition costs or in whatever. And so tell the people a little bit more, because people are watching this, we are all agency owners, let's be honest. They're just curious to know, like, okay, did you actually like get clients with the blueprint? Like, did it actually help you like get clients? Do what amount, like, can you guys like tell us a little bit more about in terms of like how it helped you grew into clients and in the niche that we're in right now, and to be in specific?
Okay. And just they need to listen to the next sentence I'm going to say because it's very important. Probably for the first 7 months, no. But that was mainly because we weren't doing the right things.
Mhm.
Trying to, we were doing the things that were not making the difference while you were telling us, okay, you guys, you need to launch ads. You need to launch ads. And how long did we not launch the ads? Once we did that, it instantly changed things. Um, it was, and you told us like we were making complex funnels and multi-steps and webflow and very complex things because we looked at, for example, big agencies and we thought, oh, we need to do that. But you just said, guys, keep it simple, keep it simple. And once we launched those simple things, which by the way you can make in a week, maybe even 3 days, maybe just one day with all of the
Mhm.
AI tools right now, then the results came in. And then suddenly, for example, in September, we closed like 6 clients. In August, 2 to 3 clients. And then that's just what we had to do in the beginning. But we were so blind and obsessed with the complex things and the beautiful things that, yeah, in the beginning, we just didn't have the results, but it really started paying off in the last few months.
Awesome. That's it, man. That's the main thing, so like even me, man, if I'm investing in some certain programs, I'm like, that's how I said, like, I'm used to the way that I'm doing things, and then it's like, okay, to test out different things and do different things that could work, it's like, doesn't make sense. And then
Mhm.
you guys are, as I know you are two very creative guys, which is also the reason why you have a creative type of agency, Lodex being like a content agency, creative agency, as I see it. There's a downside to wanting to do things that might not move the needle forward when it's actually way more simpler. it's one thing. It's the one thing, that Peter Thiel talks about. So like these things are super important. And then tell us a little bit more about like, because you guys are running ads now, right?
Mhm.
In terms of like getting client acquisition. Would you say that it has pivoted also in terms of like that also being a factor in terms of like the infrastructure that is set up right now with the structure of the ads and how we've done that is actually like now a consistent way of like getting clients for the agency, that you can actually say like, hey, we turn it on and we know at least something is going to come out of it?
Yes, if we keep creating new content. And that's something we focus on with our clients as well. Like you need to keep creating new ads and keep on refreshing it. It's not an evergreen product. You're not just going to create one ad, at least in our experience, and turn it on, and then it will generate results for the next few months. We don't feel like that works for us and not for our clients. So it's just about keeping creating ads. And we know that if we do that, leads will keep coming in.
100%.
Yeah. And the more you test, the more chances you have of finding a winning ad. And if you test 100 ads every single month, your competitor is testing 10 or 5. If they're able to generate that much content, then basically in the first month, you will find one of 3 others, 2 or 3 winners, scale them, kill the rest. Next month, you basically do the same. And then over a period of time, like the distance between you and your competition becomes so big that it's hard for them to catch up. That's the same principle that we're using right now for our e-commerce clients.
Love
And
it.
probably what made a big difference is hiring the right. No, it didn't make a big difference. It made the biggest difference is hiring the right people.
Mhm.
Once we hired the media buyer, I didn't have to spend time in the ads accounts anymore. So that freed up maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, but count that over a month, that's a lot of time. And then we hired an editor, which is so freaking good. We are so happy with them. But in the end, everyone who sees our ads says this quality is insane. And we
Mm,
don't have to spend a single minute per month in DaVinci Resolve or Premiere anymore.
I love it. I love
And
that.
okay, yes, our margin is a little bit low right now than if we would do it ourselves, but we have time to build on the business and not be in the business anymore.
Mm, mm. Solid. I love it. So let me finalize this interview with two final questions. Would you like would you guys recommend someone that is watching this with the system that is set up right now, with the ads, with the offer, in that is non-competitor of Lotix? But I always say like I don't think competition exists. If you're good enough, you don't have competition. But would you advise someone to go and take a look at the blueprint and get the system set up and get it running in the same way that you guys have it running right now, in this shape and form?
If they are crazy enough to start an agency model, yes, then
I
yes.
would I would say as well, even before we jumped into the program, we asked for a few references. We called the people up. We had our own questions, just to make sure that it was legit and it was really what we were looking for at that time. And I'm happy that we made the investment because it brought us to the place that we are right now. So if you want to grow and if you want to scale, then for sure, I would highly recommend it.
Like the main thing is you could figure absolutely everything you teach is
Mm.
is somewhere online, and everybody can find the information somewhere. But in the way of finding that information, they will find so much noise. It's gonna take them years to figure all of this out. And when you just follow the blueprint from someone who has done it before and is implementing it for a couple of different clients, that person knows what he's doing. It's exactly the same for our clients. They can figure it out on their own. They can hire their own team if they want. They can do the exact same thing as that we're doing for them. But in the end, that's going to be a big opportunity cost. Or they need to figure out who they're going to hire, what the system is, everything. So if you just think in that way, like it just makes sense to onboard someone who's going to teach you exactly how to do it in a shorter time frame, then you will have then in the case that you'll figure it out completely by yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Where do you see you guys like yourself in the next 6 to 12 months with Lotix?
Okay, I'll let this one for Ronnie first.
In terms of revenue or just overall goal?
Revenue, overall growth, both.
Okay.
Tell us.
Um, so for Niels and I, the goal has always been to move to a different country. So within the next 6 to 12 months, that's for sure what's going to happen. In terms of revenue, we would like to hit 100K per month, and then try to be as little involved in the business as possible. While we are outside the business, we would start our own e-commerce brands, maybe start doing some equity deals with e-commerce brands. Yeah, and that's for the only the next 12 months. Let's keep it at that.
I love that. I love that, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like I told you, our mission is to go into different business models. Um, it has always been the goal. We don't want to end up as an agent, just agency owner. Not that there's something wrong with that. I mean, you
Exactly.
can generate a
Yeah.
big business with agencies, but it's just not the business that really drives our passion. So
I love
we're
it.
okay putting our head down for 3 to 5 years, making sure that we have very steady fundamentals. But it's really just not our biggest passion. Let's say it like that.
I love it. I love that. Awesome. Big things in the upcoming months and years what's going to come. I'm super excited for you guys. Is there to finalize this interview, is there one final thing that you guys would like to leave the viewers with? Any form of advice or any tip? Doesn't have to be specifically about the blueprint or anything, just in general, that they can walk away thinking like, hey, this was other than the value that you
Mm.
guys have already given, which is amazing. So thank you for that. Anything lastly you want to give to them?
Maybe a short quote. It's do it or don't, but stop wanting it. That's the thing that's in our head all the time. Like if you want something, you either do it or you stop wanting it. Like it's as simple as that. You want to grow your business, do the necessary steps to grow, to make sure like your business is running as smooth as possible, or like don't even want, like there's no need to put it in your mind if you're not willing to take the action.
Yeah,
Love
for
that.
me, it's maybe every action you take, try to think about try to think about is this going to move the needle? Because we've spent so much time building pretty things, and but it didn't move the needle. So whatever you're doing right now, stop and write down, does this move the needle? If you're doing something that's useless, stop doing it and do what's necessary.
I love that. I love that. Spitting fire. Awesome. I love it. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time in all the busyness. I think this was one of the more interesting calls because like it actually shows the trials and tribulations someone needs to go through as an agency owner to get the hit and get pretty much just keep on going, not stop, and then have something that's actually working. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job, and I'm super happy that now we've turned the ball around and everything is going well. And that just shows the realness of this. It's not always going to work within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. That's just not the reality of business. It's just not going to happen.
No.
So it's not a magic thing that needs to happen. It's just working together and figuring out an answer and then finalizing something that can actually work is the key thing. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys also found the value in this interview. And we'll be seeing probably, who knows, Niels and Ronny, maybe when they come here to Dubai. They still gotta come here. We're gonna do a podcast setup here
Absolutely.
and have them with a top-notch production quality, which I'm always used from them. So yeah, once again, guys, thank you so much. See you all on the next one. Bye.